Hey, all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly value, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey there, my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel. I'm your hostess, femininity coach, and author of the Crimson Cure. And let me welcome you to yet another review of Co-Parenting with the Sperlings. This is going to be season 2, episode 4, Miss Bling. Miss Bling Bling. So we picked this up where on an episode where Dennis presents Stephanie the ring that he purchased in the previous episode. Now we're going to get to that. But before we get to that part, let's talk a little bit about, because this episode sort of covers a little bit of Stephanie's dating life, how she's trying to go about navigating dating at this point, right? So she wants to date. She wants to go out on dates and things, but she doesn't know exactly where to start. And this is actually a lot of problem with women who are divorced after a few years of being married. They don't know, they don't understand, and they don't realize until they get into it how quickly and how drastically the dating scene has changed since they were last on the market. And so a little bit of that is a little bit of shock. They don't know where to start. They don't know where to start looking for men. It's a little bit confusing. And so they don't really understand the dating market. Okay. So eventually in this episode, Stephanie ends up going on a date from a guy from the previous episode that was flirting with her, right? The one when she was at the restaurant with her friends and the guy came. And so it was that guy. So she goes on a date with that guy, and she conducts herself very well on the date, very polite, very nice, very feminine on the date. But she also sort of muses over the possibility or the thought of going back to Dennis. And but she goes ahead and dismisses the thought and says that she wouldn't spin the block because she knows what a relationship with Dennis looks like already because she's been there before. So here's the thing, though. Oftentimes women in her position, they want to be covered, or they become accustomed to the coverage that their husbands afford them. Once they're outside of that covering, once they're outside of that with their husbands, that's what makes them think about going back, because usually they can't find it again, or they can't find it to that level, because you're really not going to find that level of covering and protection outside of a truly committed relationship and a marriage. That's the bottom line. That's the reality that they don't tell you. Dating and going out with these guys and stuff like that, those guys are never going to give you the full scope of the 4 Ps. They're never going to give you a full helping, if you will, of provision, a full helping of problem solving, a full helping of protection, or a full helping of procreation, because these men are not dedicated, because they are not committed to you. They only going to give you a little bit, or portions, or spoon feed it to you. Even the sex may be sporadic, because these are not men that you're married to. These are not men that you live with. These are not men, you know what I mean? So he might be available this time, but he's not available that time, or he's not available at times that you want, or that you need him, or feel that you need him, all of these sorts of things. So she's in a position, at least as of the time of this filming, she's in a position to where she's going to be looking for Dennis. She's going to be looking for a man that is Dennis without being Dennis. Okay? Most divorced women, especially when their marriage was not egregiously betrayed or there was not some egregious, unforgivable things that happened in the relationship, unless that ex was just a horrible person, they usually end up looking for their ex in a different package. I don't know what these women think they're going to get, because if you look for certain qualities in a man, certain qualities come with certain other things. Just like I've said so many times before, when you look for a man that has means, you look for a man that has a lot of structure, you look for a man that has a lot going on in his life, and his life is together and his life is orderly and he's successful in different areas of his life, not just monetarily and financially or professionally, but he's successful personally, and things of that nature. When he's pretty much got the boxes checked, that's going to come with his SOS. That's going to come with his system, order, and structure. That's going to come with his 4Ps. That's going to come with, all of those things. So you're not going to be able to get those qualities that so many women look for without running into the very same or similar things that they got tired of with their previous relationship. So a lot of times women end up looking for their husband again, just in a different package. They want him to look different, and ultimately they want him to be different. But when they get different men, they don't like those men. They typically end up with men who are similar to their ex-husbands, unless, again, I mean, there's always exceptions to that, unless, again, their ex was horrific in some way, then they look for the opposite of that man. But if he wasn't, if he was mostly good and then they just had some complaints, like women usually do, are fickle and leave their marriages, like Tia Mara, we're gonna get back on Tia. We're gonna get back on her. Anyways, then they end up looking for their husbands again in some way, shape, or form. Right? So now let's get to the ring. So Dennis ends up presenting a ring to her. He tells his sons about it, and he tells them that they're presenting this ring to her for being a phenomenal mom and this being supportive and things of that nature, right? And I get that. I get showing appreciation to people, because my thing is you are supposed to get cookies for stuff that you supposed to do, because uh if you can get ran down for when you're not doing those things, then you can get praised and held up when you do what you're supposed to do. So them getting together and presenting her with a gift that is one of appreciation to her is not a problem at all. However, just my personal take, if I were, a little birdie on the shoulder, I probably would have suggested a pendant, perhaps a necklace, a bracelet, some other kind of jewelry other than a ring, because the ring is too close to the commitment. It's too close to engagement. It's too close, especially for a woman that was your wife at one point. And she doesn't know how to take it because it's a ring. If it had been a necklace or some beautiful pendant or something like that, it wouldn't have been a problem. She would have known exactly how to take that. But it being a ring, I think, stirred up something in her too. Like, okay. And a little birdie told me, speaking of little birdie, little inside information, that at the time that he was married to her, Dennis was not as affluent as he became after they were divorced. So she didn't really get the benefit of his financial success and his professional success. And so he felt like on some level she deserved to have something, because the ring that he could afford her at the time that they got married was much different than the ring that he could afford now, at the time that he bought her another ring. Because he had more money, and so therefore could get something more expensive, something more beautiful. And so that played a part in the decision to actually get a ring, right? Rather than some other kind of jewelry. So I definitely understood the concept behind it, because it's like you were grinding with me, or you were with me when I was grinding, right? And you are a good mother. You do take good care of our children. So you do, on some level, deserve a piece of this pie, right? Something, right? Because I would have given, had I had these means when we were married, I would have given it to you, right? So she eventually is like, you know what? I'm going to take it in stride, and I'm going to, what I'm saying, take it at face value. I'm going to take the gift as it was given to me, and not read more into it, or think more into it, or go too deep, or do too much as a result of having received it. So I thought that this episode was very interesting from that standpoint. The sort of personal reasons uh, and the thoughts that motivated the actions, because you can tell that they sort of thought about it. These things have crossed their mind. What if we got back together? And it's normal, right? It's normal. It's a normal, natural thing to do, to think about, right? Obviously, they never did, because this is filmed years ago, right? A few years ago. And current day, they're not together. So that obviously did not happen in reality. But you can sort of figure out where the thoughts come from and why they're there. So I thought it was interesting to sort of make note of the inner dynamics and the inner thoughts of the two parents in the situation, right? So, as usual, the link to the episode is going to be in the description. Go to Dennis Sperling's channel and support the brother. This co-parenting with the Sperling show comes on each Thursday evening. So you definitely want to subscribe to him. You want to hit the notification bell so that you can be notified whenever episodes air. Once again, the link is going to be in the description. Also, jump down in the comments. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to this channel if you have not. Once again, I'm your hostess, The Crimson Cure, and this was my perspective. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.